to That Kevin Show with Kevin McCullough.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, my next guest is a talented, multimedia level actor. She's done streaming, she's done film, she's done TV, and she's in a brand new picture that's coming out, that has come out rather, with Great American Pure Flix, their brand new partnership. And we are very, very excited to welcome Micah Lynn Hansen. Hello, Micah.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
Let's talk about the world that has been your life leading up to Divine Influencer. Let's talk about little Micah when she was growing up. What did she want to do, and do you see yourself doing what you pictured back then?
Oh man, it's funny because I feel like kind of like with the theme of Divine Influencer, my life has not turned out anything like I thought it would. But it's so much better than I thought it would be. If I had had my plans, my life would not look like this at all. But God's plans have always been so much bigger and better. So that being said, when I was young, I did want to. I didn't know I was homeschooled and raised very, very sheltered, and so I didn't know that acting was a career. I didn't know that was a thing that you could do, or that entertainment was a thing, and let alone being able to do it in a God-honoring way. So when I found, I think it was the Kendrick brothers' Flywheel was like the first like Christian movie that I saw, and kind of realized that people do this and you can do it in a God honoring way. And I'm just very, very blessed to get to be a part of it. So
and you've done some work
I'm
outside.
grateful.
You've done some work outside like the Christian genre, but you have done quite a bit of the faith-based stuff as well. And one of the things, you know, I'm 53 and I was homeschooled for a brief period of time. Kind of cool to start running into generations of people that have experienced that and made it to the professional realms, and we're excelling in many of these fields. But I want to talk to you about that, because when I was a child growing up and someone would say something about a Christian film, there would be this kind of rolling of the eyes, and they would be, almost glazed over in terms of a look. And they would think of some sad thing that people watched on Sunday night services in their churches that, you know, were about end times and scary. The field of faith storytelling has really exploded and taken off in ways that I've never really thought at that age that it would ever get to this level. And there's so many different ways to be part of that now. What do you make of, I don't know, just the opportunity that kind of sits at your feet?
I always go back, and it's kind of cheesy to say, but you know, where Mordecai's talking to Esther, and he says that you're here for such a time as this. And I just feel so blessed and honored that I get to be in the industry at a time where we have not even just so many options, but we have faith-based options. Like you were saying, like I never thought it would get here, let alone be at a place where I was really proud of it. Because I'll be honest, a lot of Christian media was, it was what it was, you know? And I won't dog on it too much, but
what it seemed to me, and I love candid conversation. What it seemed to me was it was always kind of looking at what was being done in the mainstream and kind of trying to say, we want to aspire to that. And I think what's happened, particularly since the emergence of like The Chosen and a handful of other projects, The Passion of the Christ, probably the first one that really broke through on this level, but basically saying, no, we're not going to try to be like anything else. We're going to be a really good story told from a really quality perspective from what we want to do. And we're going to kind of set the pace for others. And, you know, Angel Studios and others have branched out. PureFlix has done the same thing. They've branched out into these arenas where they're doing some thrillers, they're doing some mystery, they're doing some other things that aren't in the typical, you know, genre sweet spot.
Yeah. And I think that's so great, because if you look at Jesus when in his time on the earth, he didn't quote a ton of Bible verses when he was teaching in parables. He was just telling a story, and the moral and the message he was trying to get through was in the story. I don't believe, and I could be wrong, and I'm happy to be proven wrong, but I don't believe he ever quoted scripture when he was telling a parable, you know? And so the fact that we as Christians can tell a story, and it doesn't have to, you know, have an altar call. It doesn't have to have this and that. Like, it can be a good story that gets people thinking, and that will lead people to the foot of the cross if they allow it to, you know? So I think, you know, Jesus was the ultimate storyteller. Why would we not try to duplicate that?
We're visiting with the beautiful and talented Micah Lynn Hansen. Micah, let me ask you about your own development as an actress. We've kind of talked about the field, but who did you like to watch as a young actress growing up? And, you know, what type of acting methodology do you most, kind of practice? I've been around people, particularly in the mainstream, that have had some experience with this, and they're always inspired by someone. Who's been some of your inspirations?
I think, for whatever reason, Robert Downey Jr. and Denzel Washington have always been like my two top actors. I just think they're phenomenal. I love Robert Downey Jr.'s personal story of where he was in his life and how he was able to turn that around, and also that he doesn't really like take it too seriously. I'm not a method actor. I don't think there's, you know, no shade toward anyone who is. Just me personally, I can't live in a character. Like, I can't do it. I would get very mentally unhealthy if I did that. So I really like to be able to,
having known some of them, I would say that's a good reason not to do it. So good for you.
Yeah. So I don't really have a method, if I'm quite honest. Like, I just like to just immerse myself in, okay, what if Micah was going through this? How to respond, you know?
Right.
And bringing as much of myself to the character I see on the page as possible, and just playing and having fun with it and exploring it.
What when you take on, like, we're going to talk about divine influencer in a minute, but when you're looking for roles, what as an actress do you find particularly enticing about a role? What is it about a character, or the way the character is used in the story that you kind of feel like is your sweet spot, so to speak?
Well, I think it's kind of changing as I get older. Like, I used to always want to play like the pretty ingenue character, you know, the one that everybody loves and she falls in love. And those characters are super fun. I do really enjoy them. But now I really, really lean towards, honestly, the type of character I played in Divine Influencer. She's not everybody's favorite character. She's kind of the brat. She's kind of jaded. And at this stage in my career, I really enjoy getting to play the bad guy, quite honestly. I write grittier roles, and, you know, because in real life, I don't want to be the bad guy in real life. So I can pretend to be the bad guy. So I'm more drawn towards those roles. And I mean, you look at the Bible and, you know, there's villain, and who doesn't love a good villain? You know,
yeah.
Every roles right now.
That's what makes the hero that much more important. We're going to take a quick break. Be right back. Live from Times Square. She's Micah Lynn Hansen. It's Kevin McCullough. Don't go anywhere.
Ready or not, he'll be right back.